We're doing that, ladies and gentlemen. That's Avenida Paulista, probably the most famous street in all of Brazil in a freaking tuk-tuk.
O que eu vejo rodando assim é o primeiro.
Ah, sim?
Primeiro.
We finally made it to São Paulo, but just getting here was half the battle.
I've got my maps set to like avoid highways when it's possible. I think Google Maps is absolutely just taking us on a wild one.
I'm here trying to route into not only the biggest city in all of Brazil, but in the southern hemisphere.
Shoot.
Sometimes an unconventional vehicle requires an equally unusual route.
So I'm entering from the west side into São Paulo. I am currently 50 kilometers away. So Brazilians probably know that this road exists.
No, Ryan, no one has ever tried to take the back roads through the favelas into São Paulo, and especially not in a doorless vehicle at night. After quickly realizing this, I take a not so much safer option, the most chaotic highway I've ever driven in my life.
The entry to São Paulo in a tuk-tuk on a 5-lane highway. Look, I'm lane number 7.
I forgot to mention that in amongst all of this, my tuk-tuk is having motor issues.
We're leaking oil.
In today's episode, I lift the hood, or technically open the engine door, on what life is like in a tuk-tuk in Brazil. Covering 700 kilometers, my dog and I facing our share of problems, but then always finding more reasons to smile than we could ever account for on our way to Alaska. Starting out in the pine forest secondary highways of Irati and then moving towards the rolling hills of Ponta Grossa, you'll see how the scenery changes throughout dramatically.
Let's ride! It's like you're not much to say. Secondary highways, bullseye. We're loving it. This is like 80% of our driving in Latin America. Looking over our left shoulder and jamming to some 82s, baby. Living this goal. So we're right, there we roll.
If I keep driving like this, the tuk-tuk won't ever make it to Alaska.
How could I be sad? This is my life. I'm trying to share a feeling for you guys to understand maybe an inkling of what I feel on a day-to-day. I'm not trying to push a narrative or overshare my opinion, just share the vibe. It's a good day, it's a good day. We're in Brazil in a tuk-tuk.
We stopped in a hotel shortly after filming this clip and awoke to a heartbreaking noise on engine startup.
And now we're getting this like chink of metal. Just then is the first time I've ever heard it. It's like when I'm just starting up, it sounds like two metal pieces like click together on the ignition.
With an Airbnb in the center of São Paulo awaiting today, I had no time to waste on engine issues. A quick once over from these mechanics suggested also that if the tuk-tuk was running fine for now, they didn't quite have the expertise to get much done here.
And that's something that's happened with Plus just 3 times. Like we tried it down there twice, I heard it, the mechanics heard it, and I said like, I'm gonna go fix it in São Paulo. But more likely, I'm gonna get back to my old tuk-tuk in Rio de Janeiro, and any parts I need from that old tuk-tuk, I can put in here. Well, we've left the hotel. We've packed the tuk-tuk, we've got pads back. We're just about to hit the road. It's just started kind of raining. Yeah, we should get to São Paulo today. But I'm just feeling quite defeated, to be honest. There's that phrase of everything's an issue until your health is an issue, and then when you're having troubles with your health, like then all the other problems are minuscule. And I very much get stressed depending on the health level of the motor. I got the tuk-tuk here. This is the motor lane. And I've got the sirens that have just gotten put on for me, telling me to stop. but I've not yet paid a toll. I just always drive through the motor lane and they wave me like away. Nenhuma de Foz do Iguaçu.
Você não pagou nenhuma lá atrás?
Não, e tudo. Estou mirando, olhando. Está, tchau, bom viagem, falando assim.
Espera aí, então, vou ver com a minha chefe que se você paga. Espera aí, vou olhar, vamos ali. Você consegue pagar no dinheiro ou cartão? Dinheiro?
Dinheiro, sim.
Consegue?
Sim, quanto?
Aqui, 14,30. Essa é a praça.
Sim.
As outras lá, eu vou ver com ela daí como vai fazer.
She's saying I'll make you pay for the last 3 that you've crossed, not all of what you've crossed of Brazil. How's the motor looking? Yeah. We're leaking oil. I can hear like some compression issue, I feel, from the cylinders moving. Motor issues, toll issues. We're having a day, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, damn. They charged me for the last 3, but not since that would have been like $150 US if they charged me for the entirety that I've driven in Brazil so far. We found the oil leak, ladies and gentlemen. So you can see right here, there's a droplet of oil coming from basically this piece here. Seems that the rubber rings are having an issue, and that can definitely stop the proper lubrication necessary from getting through the motor. So we've got to get that fixed ASAP. So, no, limão, perfecto, obrigado. Look at this. This is a typical farofa, arroz. You have the beans. This is a very typical another Brazilian feed, and they do a lot of meat. It's only like 10:30, so I'm thinking that's too much meat for the morning. But we got an omelet prepared, and they've said no, we're not going to charge you. The owners watched some of your videos and said no, we're going to do this as a gift. This is freaking insane. So I've got the morning mate as well. That's coming down a treat. But let's hook in, eh? This looks freaking scrumptious. That's delicious. Like, I'm feeling heartbroken, ladies and gentlemen. It's making me feel a lot better. Gracias, señor. Que bom. Obrigado. What a spot, man. That was 10 points. That was 10 out of 10. Hi, trees. I feel a lot better after a big fat feed, thanks to those guys. And like, yeah. I was like, oh, the toll robbed me. And then I just get a free breakfast and it's like, oh shoot. Everything, there's balance in the world again. We're making great progress, just 100 kilometers now to São Paulo, the biggest city in Brazil. Going back again. How you feeling, Pats? Anything to add? Not really. Brasil! So I'm entering from the west side into São Paulo. Brazilians probably know that this road exists, but not many would have taken it or used it ever. So this is kind of what it looks like. Designed for tuk-tuks. We've just been on highways the entire day, so I'm very tired of that. And this is obviously chill but slow, and I'm gonna go left. That's completely cool. That's the vibes. Shoot. No, Brazilians probably definitely haven't heard of this route. I think Google Maps is absolutely just taking us on a wild one. I've got my maps set to like avoid highways when it's possible. This doesn't look like the way to get into the biggest city of Brazil. I think we've got to leave this ASAP. So we're staying in the center. This is where we're at. It's freaking bonkers, man. Big oof. Yeah, it's 5:30 p.m. If we kept this route going, it would like be very much nightfall by the time we get to the center of
freaking São Paulo. The city's so big. We're not even on the outskirts yet. This is the jungle. Patters! We're leaking oil still. Life, man. We don't want to be leaking oil in the jungle. It's like one drop probably every 5 or 10 minutes, but yeah, so it's not enough to worry about now, but it's enough to know that we're gonna go to a mechanic Monday morning in São Paulo, somewhere. The Patters. Well, we can't say we didn't at least try. Sorry, Mum, we're going back on the highway. This is what I was waiting for. Peak hour traffic, but I'm the only person in this traffic that wants this traffic. But this is chill. We take the highway all the way in, and the exit gets off at like basically where our house is. It's fantastic. That kind of looks like the favela of São Paulo. That's where you definitely want to be on the highway like we are, not kind of making that turn off in a slow vehicle with no doors. Easily top 5 most scariest roads of traffic we've driven in these 3 years, you know? It's very, very hectic. And then out to your right, views, baby. Almost thought the sirens for us. 7-lane highway in the rain's absolutely insane. Look, I'm lane number 7. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to São Paulo. Oh my goodness. It was one of those moments of turn the music down so I can see better to get through all that weaving highway traffic, and now it's just cruisy sailing. Mate, we're cooked. How tired are you, Miss Parts, eh? Google Maps saying 15 minutes. We'll take that, we'll take that. What would I do without GPS? Like, the amount of these ones entering São Paulo, if I had to look at a book to navigate all that, mate, GPS, we're living in like the prime internet. Heck, we're doing it. I'll tell you that, we're doing it. We've pretty much done it. It's honestly surreal to be back here again, but even more insane to see this skyline view from a drone controller for the very first time. I stayed in this apartment for a week, using the pool several times and going through a bunch of wild stuff that I ended up filming amongst these edit days. I'll get to all that soon, but for now, it's a Sunday. And that also means that when the mechanic is closed, the Tuk Tuk issues are a tomorrow problem. And today is just about living nostalgically with Miss Pats, going back to a park we once frequented, picking her up a new leash replacement for the Tuk Tuk since the old one is on its way out, and clearing my head at the gym. Right, third mechanic in Brazil. We're in São Paulo, and we're apparently in good hands. We've got a good contact here that's pointing us in the right direction with these guys. They seem to be obviously, they're looking at a tuk-tuk motor for the very first time, and we're all figuring it out together to just try to find a solution to this oil leak, basically.
Aí ele sai junto mesmo, cabeça.
Estou aprendendo com você que não estou para sair isso.
I'm just taking that off.
And the rings are not rubber. They're actually like a copper.
Ó, aqui ó. Ela amassou, tá vendo?
é mau.
Isso.
Ok, ok.
Mas ele tá rodando o mundo?
É o plano. Hasta Alaska agora.
Alasca?
Sim.
Ah,
Yo, alright, we're gonna drive around the block 10 minutes to see if the oil leak's still happening, but fingers crossed we fix the problem. Alright.
Tá seco, não nada não.
Seco?
Sequinho.
Oi. Sucesso então. Hopefully that sorted it, but it's such a slow drip that sometimes I need to drive like, I feel like 30 minutes to get a proper solution. Quanto puedo?
Não, vai lá, boa viagem aí.
No.
Nada, ela vive na estrada também, falar pra você. A gente vive na estrada também, de vez em quando. Eu tô na estrada sempre.
Yeah. Muito obrigado, amigo. This is a freaking legend in his workshop, so vou poner a direção, address. I'll put the address, and if you ever need help in São Paulo, boa mouse aqui. Ciao. There we go. And this, lads, is Lapa. Oh my goodness, to be back here again is crazy. See, there's just a lot of stalls on the side of the road, right? Anyway, it's a bit of a dangerous neighborhood, not so much in the daytime, but what we've got to go to here for is, I'm fully doing everything with one hand here. So in Lapa is where I've got to extend my visa, and I also think I can deregister the crashed tuk-tuk from Brazilian roads, finally, here as well. It's a police station for immigration and things like that. Yeah, this is like, we've been here before. This is nostalgia. Like I've walked through that market. Good news, ladies and gentlemen. Disculpa. Obrigado. So that building behind me is literally where all the foreigners go to sort out visa issues and stuff. So yeah, it's all kind of just everybody, like tourists, maybe travelers, maybe even people just working, just trying to figure out something, you know what I mean? So we're all in the same boat with somewhat of an issue. I spent about an hour and a half in there. I am too early to extend my visa. I've got to come back when I'm in the last 30 days of my 90-day visa, and then I can extend for another 90 days. So then I've essentially got 6 months to explore Brazil, which is really cool. I don't have to rush like I thought I did. So on top of that, the police just reckon that if I remove the number plate and then scrub the chassis number and the motor number from the previous crash tuk-tuk, then that's like their process of deregistering the vehicle in Brazil. So there's a chance that somebody might get their hands on it, whether it gets sold to the scrapyard and somebody sees there's value in it and tries to rebuild the tuk-tuk. My issue was that if they do rebuild it successfully, if they return it to the Brazilian roads and then they're driving around with the vehicle in my name and causing me issues and accumulating maybe fines and parking fines, speeding fines. So yeah, we won't have any issues hopefully with that. And also I just like the idea of coming back and forth to Brazil without having this kind of anchor of a crashed vehicle that's still in the country on like an extended illegal visa. Two kind of problems that were a big question mark in my mind that are now kind of essentially solved. We're doing that, ladies and gentlemen. That's Avenida Paulista, probably the most famous street in all of Brazil in a freaking tuk-tuk. People galore, shops, skyscrapers, the lot. You've got it all here. É famosa, né? Avenida Paulista. Famosa. Você acha que sou o primeiro tuk-tuk em Avenida Paulista?
O que eu vejo rodando assim é o primeiro.
Ah, sim?
Primeiro.
Primeiro? Eu? É. Isso! Obrigado, meu. Look at that. The bus driver that drives these roads every single day reckons that this is most likely the first tuk-tuk in Avenida Paulista. That's pretty cool. Mate, I'll take that. That's a win. I'll take that for sure. Gotta be careful, can't have this camera snagged out of my hand, you know what I mean? Buy a motorcycle. Vans, museums. That's a big shopping center there. This is like the heart of São Paulo. The heart of the biggest city in all of Brazil. It's very cool. Monumental moment right there. So that building back there is a heritage listed building, I believe, and it's a McDonald's. Bum, 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 right? So it's one of those. And it's the 1000th, I believe, McDonald's in Brazil. They wanted to do something special for their 1000th opened McDonald's in the country. And with it being heritage listed, they can't actually alter the building itself. So they've just bought it, put a Macca's in it, and they've called it the Mackie Mil. Mil is the word for 1000 in Portuguese, but also if you go to a McDonald's and you say, I want the McDonald's meal, that's why it's like Mackie Mil, McDonald's 1000th. It's very cool, very cool. I'm Mick loving it. Mick loving to get home about now too. And that's also how Brazilians say McDonald's, they say Mackie. Vamos lá, vamos Mackie. We're back, we made it, we're in the garage. Now the final test. So after driving an hour, is the oil leak check.
It looks clean to me.
What a fantastic outcome. Literally no more tuk-tuk stress, no more visa stress, no more crash tuk-tuk police stress. All that sorted in a productive morning. Now literally ready to just do a bit of exploration of São Paulo, get some clips and outings. Got some Patreon meetups as well that we're gonna do while I'm here, since not many people actually understand how far into Brazil we are. Patreon platforms where I put real-time updates, raw and extended clips of our trip that don't make the YouTube video. So if you want to join up on that, I'll leave the link to that above somewhere. And the top tier legends all have their names on the tuk-tuk, supporting the journey and the success of getting us to Alaska. Freaking legends.
I've heard before that São Paulo's weather can change suddenly, but this is my first time truly experiencing it.
Wow. São Paulo, man, it's just got that crazy weather change. This is the same day as when we did the mechanics. Okay.
This is the beginning of a highlight reel from my time in the big city, starting with supporting a local cafe to charge my laptop, since there's a region-wide blackout, but this luncheonette fortunately had a backup generator. I also got to visit a few museums I missed last time, and then bam. On a regular walk with Patty, I noticed her abscess, which she'd recovered from about 6 months ago, was back and bigger than ever, which caused our immediate trip to the vet. She always had this elbow scar tissue caused by lying down on the cement floors in the Bolivian dog shelter before I adopted her, and the vet believes that possibly some dirt may have entered, causing the abscess to flare up. After they drained her elbow, she had several days of rest ahead of her before we go back to the vet for a checkup. In amongst all of this, Patreon members Nanny and Matt were seeing our real-time updates, posted on the platform and reached out saying they'd take me out for dinner. And oh my goodness, was this place an absolute treat. All I was told was to come on an empty stomach because it's an all-you-can-eat steakhouse.
Meu primeiro vez, senhor.
Meu primeiro vez. Obrigado, senhor.
Obrigado. Você só segura, só pessoal.
Uma caipirinha e prato grande. Com meus novos amigos.
Dessert and meal were 10 out of 10.
Que é isso?
Isso é licor de cassis, de John.
Que é bom. Obrigado.
Com um pouco de álcool para ficar alegre.
Look at that.
Wow. The next day I took an attempt at shopping, but literally bought nothing because why are named US brands 50% more expensive here than they are in Australia? That's crazy.
All that lime for Krispy Kremes. They just don't exist here in Brazil, so they're like a hot commodity.
This is Liberdade. This is the Japanese neighborhood here in São Paulo, Brazil. This is like some of the best Japanese food I've had in Latin America. Had to come back. In a traditional supermarket, you even got the triangle sushi. That's sick. Like, I know this isn't Brazil, it's Korean, actually, but yeah, it's still very, very cool to see. Try to find like a sweet treat that I would just never have in my life, right? That's traveling, eh? Going to Brazil to eat Japanese. You got the Macca's logo there, and I believe that says Macca's above.
Não tá com febre.
Não?
Não.
Tá bom.
Tá ótima. Então vamos manter o antibiótico
Sim.
até sair o resultado do exame.
Bom.
Tá
Perfect.
bom?
Perfect. Good girl, Patus. All done. Back to normal, back to healthy. This is a legendary vet. How nice. Check it out, lads. This is a typical feijão. It's just a small one. There was a larger one, and we just arrived in time to see a motorbike crash into his car, doing a bunch of damage. Anyway, we're happy. We're chilling. It's actually a deep fried freaking banana. Very, very crazy. I thought it'd be like a chicken or something. First time I've actually enjoyed like a deep fried banana. Huge bowl of beans. You kind of like slap that all over. Big bit of meat. Salad, farofa. This is like what is that? São Paulo doing a whole different style of feijão. Looks like a chicharrón. Deep fried fat. Very delicious. Here in a typical restaurant, São Paulo, with all the businessmen on their lunch break. We're doing it. That's 10 out of 10. And then abacaxi, which is pineapple juice. But this is like all up about like 15, 16, 17 US dollars. Pretty good. With a bit of entertainment outside. He's about to drive off. He's got to try it. Next week on the 3-Wheel Dream, we face 4 adventurous days driving to Rio de Janeiro along a path less traveled. Quiet beaches, surf town pastel shops, and waterfalls all to ourselves. You really can't go wrong with a bit of tuk-tuk camping, especially when there's another playful pup to join in on Patty's zoomies.